Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/malicious compliance. I suggest you be patient because our first story might make you a little angry. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I am allowed on the property, you are not. This happened just last week and is the only time I've ever had the police called on me. So my parents live in an absolutely amazing house with a large amount of lakefront. The neighbors' homes are not nearly as nice, but in general, it's a very wealthy neighborhood. My brother lives with my parents, and they all drive nice new vehicles. My mom drives a Porsche Cayenne, my dad has a Subaru Ascent, and my brother has a Toyota Tacoma and a BMW M3. I drive a 2001 Honda Civic, which has several dents and scratches. It looks incredibly out of place in the neighborhood, and especially so at my parents' place. So I stopped by in the middle of the day to grab some stuff from my parents' place. We're in the process of selling our home and are storing a bunch of stuff in their garage. So I was rummaging around in the garage looking through the bins until I found what I was looking for. My GameCube controller and USB adapter, and I loaded up my car and got ready to leave. When I looked out, I saw that the gate was completely blocked by a truck and a car that I did not recognize, so I hopped back out of the car and approached. I was told by the older woman and the younger man that the cops had been called. I asked why and was told that I was caught in the act of burglary. I tried to explain that this was my parents' place and that I was just grabbing some of my stuff, but they said that they have seen my parents' kid and know what he drives. So I went back to my car and called my dad and told him that I needed him to come to his place because his neighbors think I was breaking in. So he was on his way. Took maybe 15 minutes for the cops to show up, and they beat my dad by a couple of minutes. I had no issues explaining what was going on, and they were definitely on my side. My dad showed up, cleared the rest of it up. The cops said that I could press charges for false imprisonment and asked my dad if he wanted to press charges for trespassing, but we chose not to because of the headaches that would clearly cause for my parents. They'd already had several run-ins with these neighbors with them using equipment without permission, which is why they'd been told not to return to the property by police in the past. Just as an aside, Hondas do appear to have amazing longevity. People usually think of Toyota in that light, but my experience with Hondas has been just as good. And our second story. You're banned from the store. Happened a few months ago, and my supervisor, whom I'll call Jake, has since moved on to greener pastures. He's the type of person who'll point-blank let people know he's at work in a professional capacity and expects other people to do likewise, which led to a rather hilarious situation. I'm working at the self-checkouts one morning helping people and chatting them up while fixing transactions. I'd had two women come in who were a bit loud but otherwise seemed friendly. Jake was flying around happily talking up customers and laughing loudly and coming over to assist me when I needed it. We were having a grand old time and enjoyed talking to people about their projects. The two women had a rather large order, mostly paint supplies, that totaled a little over $500. I give them a bit of time because I see them arguing at the checkout machine, and after about 10 minutes walk over to see if there was an issue. Me: "Ma'am, is everything okay?" Lady 1: "Do you guys take Apple Pay?" Me: "No, they took that out over a year or so ago." Lady 2: angry and exasperated with me: "How are we supposed to pay? Do you have any machines that take Apple Pay in here?" "No, all the registers are the same." Cue back and forth for a few minutes until Jake comes over. He tells me to help other customers and he'll handle the situation. The women give him the same spiel and then declare that they're going to customer service to complain and check out there. Jake's confused, but suspends their order and walks down with them to customer service, despite telling them there's no Apple Pay machines down there either. I think he suspected they might have been trying to steal at this point. And the rest of the story Jake told me over lunch. Him and the ladies get down there and he brings up their order on another machine. Jake: "What form of payment did you want to use?" Lady 1: "Apple Pay." Jake, very calmly: "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we don't have Apple Pay here. I can take debit, credit, cash, or check." Lady 2: "How are we supposed to pay? I don't have my card, and we have to get this project done." Jake, channeling his inner Buddha: "Ma'am, again I'm sorry, but we don't have it." I can watch this for you if you need to go home and get your card. Cue these women having a meltdown at the customer service area. They start demanding a manager, moaning and groaning about us not taking their money, the works. Then they reach the stage where they say Jake is overcharging them, so he meticulously goes through ringing each item and rebagging it, even showing them the screen as he's working. Finally, after half an hour of this, the truth is revealed. Lady 1, muttering angrily as she pops off the case of her phone and takes out her credit card. Fine, I'll use this. Jake, staring in shock. Is that your card? Lady 1 snarls snidely, it's connected to my phone. Jake goes stone-faced. Lady 1 goes to pay as Lady 2 looks on smugly. Jake turns card machine away and comes around with his arms crossed. You argued with me that entire time when you had your card? Lady 1, I didn't want to use it. Jake, coldly angry now. You just told me it's connected to your phone, so if you did pay with your phone, you'd be using that card anyway. Lady 1, you didn't have Apple Pay. Jake, you wasted my time. I could have been helping other customers. My cashiers are late to breaks because I was busy helping you. At this point, Jake has had it and lets into both women about their behavior in the store, the fact they hit another form of payment, and generally being a nuisance. He's at the point where he doesn't want to complete the sale until one of the women drops this gem. I'll lodge a complaint against you. You'll be fired. Jake, without missing a beat, good. Lady 1 and 2 are taken aback. You'll be doing something productive finally. They try to argue a bit more as he tells them to leave. After a bit more back and forth, he agrees to sell them the products, but they're banned from the store. If they need to make a return, they'll either need to head to another store or they'll be dealing with him directly. They finally leave, shouting expletives with Jake and a manager escorting them out of the store. The two women did try to come back at least twice, but were told to either come back when Jake was there or head somewhere else. Never saw him again, and according to Jake, before he left, they never did complain. I wish he hadn't let them make the sale. That way he could have wasted their time as much as they wasted his. And our next story. Mess with my wife, I'll take your rank. Back in 2013, I was transferred from sunny San Diego to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I had been in the Marines for over 4 years and had been sent to a unit that would finally give me the chance to deploy to Afghanistan. In case you don't know, before your unit deploys overseas, you have a mountain of classes and training to get done, which starts around 6 months or so prior to the date. I'd become close friends with Joe, who was my senior-most corporal. I was the only sergeant in my platoon, and we hung out all the time outside work. We would barbecue, go to the gym, have parties with the families, etc. Well, that fateful time comes and we get sent to the land of never-ending sand. About 4 months in, I start to get a funny feeling that something was not right due to the lack of being able to talk to my wife on the phone or Facebook Messenger. I do have a special skill that I honed from sneaking past my Vietnam veteran father, who was very set in that bedtime meant bedtime and not to raid the fridge for snacks time. I'm very quiet, and you won't hear me coming unless I want you to. One day, I came into our PEB, just a big container that housed around 8 people in it, and seen my wife's face on the video chat of my best friend Joe, who didn't hear me until I shut the door. I played it off like nothing, and the rest of the deployment had moments just like this, where I'd see or hear them talking or just take notes for my revenge. Before things really got to me mentally, our time in the sandbox was coming to an end and we flew home. The homecoming was uneventful other than my 2-year-old not realizing who I was for a few minutes. Then it was happiness all around, just like before deploying. We have a mountain of classes after we get back to scan for TBI, traumatic brain injuries, mental health awareness, certifications, etc., and nobody was exempt from completing the various death by PowerPoint classes that were scheduled for that week. Out of nowhere, Joe had random appointments almost every day, or something would come up where we'd have to leave while everyone else was stuck all day long at a class or at medical getting screened for everything under the sun. You ever have the feeling that your gut is telling you 100% that something's going on, but your brain is like, no, stop being paranoid? Well, that's what I was dealing with on a daily basis. I began to follow Joe a few days a week when he would leave work early or have to make a call, and sure enough, his car would be right outside my house every single time. When I finally confronted Joe, he denied it up and down like I was crazy and genuinely made me feel like I was offending him by the accusations. I quietly compiled the evidence and brought it all to the battalion sergeant major, who, if you don't know, is the top of the food chain under the battalion commander. After a week or so, I get called into the battalion commander's office to discuss his findings and to ask me what I want to happen. My answer is simple. I want his rank. Justice came swift and painful. Joe was awarded loss of rank, forfeiture of a half-month's pay for 2 months, restriction on extra duties. Shortly after we came back to the States, Joe was promoted to sergeant, and in less than a month, his rank was gone. I heard from mutual friends that he left his wife to be with his new girlfriend, who's also pregnant with his third son. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I was trying to stay with my wife for my son, but I found that was a huge mistake. A few months after the dust settled, I was transferred back to San Diego to go on a cruise, and my wife and I were giving this our last shot. I went underway for 2 weeks, and guess where she flies to? His house, to have their last bit of time together. After I found all this out, I just lost any interest in being nice and making it work. I deployed on the ship and actually met my new wife there. We've been together ever since. And I've been much happier than when I was being mentally tortured by my ex. Moral of the story, don't screw your best friend's wife. I love stories like this. You military guys really know how to get revenge, and get it good. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.